Hey, everybody. Are you guys prepping for fall, prepping for winter, prepping for your slowest season that comes in the service department? Sam and I are going to talk today about being proactive and flipping the script and actually turning your service department into a super profitable department and keeping it busy through the perceived slow season. Stay tuned for GarageCast. This is a show for anybody that has something that they want to say. It's going to be full of people with a lot of energy, CEOs, OEMs, vendors,
best practice ideas in this industry and of neighboring industries.
We're talking to people that are on the cutting edge of processes, management,
serial entrepreneurs, authors. We really have a feast of all different types of senior level people.
A cornucopia, as it were.
A plethora, maybe. Grab a pen, grab a cup of coffee, and have a seat. Start writing. This is GarageCast.
GarageCast. Welcome to GarageCast. Crazy summer.
You got all kinds of fires up there.
I'm surrounded by fires, man. It's a bummer. It's sad.
Fifth largest in Colorado history, that one just west of Meeker.
Yeah, so they're and you know what, at the end of the day, everybody in every state that's listening to this or wherever you might find yourself, it's like you get your news in the cycle of what affects you, right? And so this is something that's crazy up here, but this is threatening an entire town, like a tire place. So
and Meeker is how far from you in Steamboat Springs?
Well, if you drive there, it's about an hour and 30 minutes ish, right? But like if you're talking as the crow flies over the mountains, I mean, you can get there 25 minutes. So it's not that it's threatening this town. It's not threatening my town. That's not where my concern comes from. It's that it's threatening a town, and it's a massive fire. But it's crazy.
I'm just saying, man, for our listener to put that into perspective of kind of where it is out there. And Tony, you know, I got evacuated for an entire week last year with some fires, and as the crow flies is how the fire flies. And so the fire's not following the highway to come get you. I just hate it for all those people in Meeker, though. Oh my God.
Crazy.
Already lost some houses. Yeah.
Yeah. So, on the heels of what we're going to talk about today, Steve Ratt last week was,
If you ever wanted to hear about the passion of an industry, he's the guy, right? And he's an engineer, and he was coming out with all the passion for the industry.
Yeah.
It was hard for us to get a word in on some of the interviewing questions, but I think he was 5 deep before we even got to a question. He was just rattling it off. So I love how excited he gets about where he is. I think it's a very good fit.
Yeah, for sure. So listen, let's talk about what we're going to jump into today is in my spring round of 20 clubs. You know, there's a lot of talk about dealers trying to get proactive into the winter or into their quote unquote slow seasons. And if you live in Florida and you really don't have a slow season per se in your service department or like in Steamboat Springs where my dealership is, they got summer work for all of the off-roading. They got winter work because they're one of the largest snowmobile dealers out there. So, it may not affect some of the deals in here, but, talking about how is it that we can keep our service department firing year round. And, we've done podcasts with different people and talked about how there's some dealerships that they just don't play in that space, that mind space of like, oh, well, we're coming into winter, so we're going to slow it on down. And so, after listening to this, the entire spring round, I went and I put a place marker in my calendar for August 15th, I think it is, which is send out an email to all of our 20 club members about right now is when you want to start, dealing with your service. And crazy thing is here we have this great podcast where we can get the message spread out to the masses. It wasn't, hey, go shoot a podcast and send an email, which is total crap. But so you and I got together and really kind of formulated what we think is a good episode about this. And so let me kick it. Yeah, go.
I was just going to say, this is on the heels also of our interview with Tom Irwin from Wallstrom Marine. If you guys haven't heard that one, you should go back and listen to it because he's adamant about now is the time to get prepped for this. And that kind of got us on the hot seat about putting it on your calendar and starting these conversations.
Yeah. So let's talk about fixed ops versus variable operations. And we've broken this down in several different podcasts, which is Sales is seen as a variable ops, which because of, you know, the economy, the weather, there's all kinds of things that can affect the sales of major units, be it boats, be it motorcycles, be it side-by-sides, right? So they call that somewhat variable. Fixed operations has a little bit more even of a temperature in that you can kind of follow the waves and the patterns of what these departments do in your dealership. And I want to start with the idea that, in my opinion, we make service volatile.
Yes.
We make it volatile. So when we're talking variable operations versus fixed operations, we as dealers create a variable operation in the service department. Now, I get it. When you're sitting here talking to me about some place that gets cold, that can't really do snowmobiling and stuff, that people are going to put motorcycles away. People will take their boats out of the water and they'll put them away for the winter. And you do have a pretty big period of time where you're not going to have what I call reactive service opportunities, which are people bringing their stuff to you.
Well, and that's the right word for it too. Reactive service. That is correct.
So then my first question would be to you, Dantzler, is you take a person that's been in business 10, 20, 30, 40 years, right?
Yeah.
And they'll sit there and they'll say, well, yeah, I mean, winter's coming. Service always has to slow. How many years have you known that service slows?
All of them is the answer. All of them.
So if that is your quote unquote fixed operation and you know it gets slow, sure, I understand kids go back to school, lakes freeze over. We can't do a lot of that stuff. But if you know that that's coming, how long have you been doing this where you just decide, well, I'm going to react to the current climate and I can do nothing about it? So the first thing I want to make sure everybody understands is, one, I do understand that there are seasons and there are opportunities. Well, let me go back. There are seasons. And as such, your business as a whole is going to take a step down and slow down. So I get that. My question.
All right, I'm going to circle back on that.
Well, my point being is let me give you the far end of the spectrum, because as you know, I don't always like to deal with the 10% of my business dies because I sell boats and it snows in Vermont or it snow, right? Okay, so I don't take those, and I most certainly don't take the other 10%. I like to deal in the middle, meaning, by nature, people are going to slow the concept of going to buy a boat in November through February, maybe, right? So my hope, and we have boat shows, so I'm not going too far down that rat hole. My point is, and I think it's going to play into you just swinging and hitting a home run on this, is that a lot of times I think we just play into that in our headspace and we create the paradigm right along with the customer and we just ease right on into that relationship. What do you think?
I think it's 100%. I mean, years ago, we heard the phrase, buying season and selling season. And a lot of dealerships have adopted that, right? Because the buying season is summer. That's what the time of year everybody's just buying. They're coming in. You're just reacting to the deals that are coming to you. And a lot of people say, oh, it's our sales season. No, that's your buying season. When your buying season slows and tapers off, that becomes your selling season. And just people don't have the mindset of that it's selling season during the winter. Most people don't. To your point, let's take that boat dealership in Vermont that you were just talking about fictitiously. Oh, well, then nobody's in their boat and they're locking it up. Well, why is it that marinas, if you're on a water and you have a marina and you can offer storage, the marina and the storage revenue can be the driver of the entire business. And we have dealerships that is the number one department for revenue.
For sure.
For our power sport guys out there, typically it's two-wheeled and riding, ATV and everything. And they start to believe, to your point, that it slows down during the winter, and they get to be right. It slows down during the winter. I'll give you one more piece on that. And just comparing the boat show to the power sport industry, when we started playing in the boating space, which was when I gave that first speech for MRA, which I think has been 12 years now, Tony, with Liz Walls and Matt Gruen. It's when he first took over the MRAA as the president. I was shocked to find out that the majority of boats, upwards of 70% in some dealerships, of all of the annual boat sales come from the boat show. Doesn't mean they're all sold at the boat show. It means all the leads and all the activity and a lot of the sales come from the boat show, which is typically 2 to 7, 6 days for most dealers. Now, I want you to think about powersport dealers. If the majority of all of your sales came from one 6-day event, how much attention and how much planning and proactivity would you put towards your event? Because, Tony, I'm sure you can tell me when most of these boat shows seasonality happen during the year. When are the boat shows?
Winter. December, January, February. Yeah.
So I got a whole industry that sells the majority of their boats at this event that happens in the winter. And then I got a whole nother industry called powersports that believes it slows down during winter. And guess what? You get to be right. So a lot of it is mindset. I think your earlier point where I was shaking my head, reactively, if you're waiting on the business to come in the door, you're exactly right. It will slow down during the winter because people put these toys away during the winter and they come back to them during spring.
So one thing I want to give everybody out there before I kind of dive into this whole concept of chicken or egg is I want everybody to look at this as service predictably and reliably creates revenue for your dealership. Predictably and reliably, meaning we know for a fact it's going to come in at certain times of the year, and we can rely on that to create a good amount of money. So why would we not want to replicate that when we start getting into our head about, well, this is the season where service technicians are going to start, grabbing brooms and paintbrushes, and we're going to try and keep them. We're going to try and lip it through till next season.
Can I add a word to that statement? Yeah. Service predictably and reliably creates revenue. I'm going to add the word can. Service can predictably and reliably create revenue, or it may just create revenue sporadically. You can program it, you can be in front of it, or you can react to it. It's totally up to you.
Exactly. So let's look at this. Is this chicken or egg, Dantzler? And that is who creates that spring rush and that summer plug up. Is it that your dealership is really known to be the best place to take your stuff, and that I take care of you and I'm always there for you and I'm contacting you and catching up with you? Or is it that you're closest to me? It's the ease of which I can just drop this damn thing off and get it back. But who creates that? And in my estimation, there are some dealerships out there that do a really good job with being proactive in the service department, and they're actually out front on social media and they create a really good experience. But we literally wait for our customers to come out of hibernation, right? So we look at our customers like the bears, that they go away, they fatten up, they go away, they put their stuff away, and we hope that they keep their thing and that we see them the next spring.
It's almost like that window, Tony, Labor Day to Memorial Day. Right. More so for the boating industry than for the power sport guys. But, you take snowmobiles out of that, and that's when reactively that door is swinging, to your point.
And so I would say, as a dealership as a whole, take that March, April beginning and September, October stop and just throw that away. You're going to predictably and reliably get business. I mean, unless the sky falls, you're getting that business, right?
You're going to accidentally get that business.
Yeah, you take that out of the equation and focus on being the best service department from September until April 1st. And then I want you to open up your thinking and go, holy shit, I got to do something to make this work.
Well, so let me just, I'm going to take it from a different vantage point, Tony, and say, look at your staffing scenario. When the season breaks, typically in March for a lot of our power sport dealers, I know it's a little bit later, but for the marine industry out there, but when you ask the typical power sport dealer, when is your season break? And they're like, floodgates come open on March 31st or even March 1st sometimes, depending on where you are in the country, right? And so the question is, well, and we go through this every time in the management academy, do you have enough staff? Oh no, I'm still waiting to get a couple people. Okay. Who are they? Let's just say they're sales guys. Okay. How long does it take to get a good sales guy up to speed? Well, I need at least 30 days to get them understanding a bit about what they're doing. Okay. Well, how long does it take to place the ad and hire them and get them to a point where then you can train them to get them 30 days of experience on the floor? Well, it's probably another month and a half prior to that. So, okay, 75 days in advance. What is your activity and your proactiveness during November, December, and January in staffing to prepare for the game that's about to be played in March? And that's exactly what you're talking about. You're just doing it in the service department.
Yeah. Yeah. So the example I'm going to give, and there's plenty out there, and I want you to think of any example out there that you guys can think of, but I think of my dentist. Very different from my doctor, very, very different than a lot of the places. But my dentist, they know two things, dude, is that my insurance pays for cleanings and checking for cavities and all that crapola. They pay for that twice a year. Right. So the dentist is proactive. If they haven't already scheduled me, they're getting in touch with me by all means possible, calling me, texting me, emailing me. Hey, want to let you know, we got to get you in here. We got to get you scheduled. When I go in to get that first cleaning and get all the stuff done, before I leave that office, they are sitting me down going, so let's look ahead 6 months. I have this, and this date's open. How does that work? They give you the card, they text you, they email you. My point to the whole thing is be more like your dentist in your service department. And that's the first part, is being proactive. Is you always got to treat the customer as captive. Now, my doctor, he could give a shit less, right? I come in and I got a aching elbow and he gives me something to take and see you when I see you. I hope you're healthy, but versus reaching out to see if I need help. Now that's a totally different story. But my point to this whole thing is I want you to be more like a dentist in the fact that you are actually keeping in touch and understanding that there is a ton of opportune work that is left on the bone if you just keep in touch with your client. Keep in touch with your customer. Thoughts?
Pretty simple. Well, you say, think about a dentist, right? And dentists are prescribing like a doctor would. They're prescribing what you need to have. And, I just sit here and it goes back to proactive versus reactive, right? Are you going to go in the dentist and say, here's what I need. I'm going to get a crown. So I need some Novocaine. I need you to schedule me this time at this point. I need 4 nurses there because I'm a little baby and I need a pink toothbrush to go home. Or are you just going to go in and say, hey man, what's wrong with my teeth? And they're going to fix it and they're going to write the prescription, right? It's the proactive versus the reactive. So there are so many examples of that, Tony. I want to defer a couple till later on the podcast, but I'll give you one just because it was front and center recently. I had ordered, we have a very good relationship with Sweetwater, which is a music electronics company that we've had the CEO on our podcast prior to retiring. And we buy a lot of our gear, all of our podcasting gear, from Sweetwater. And I buy a lot of guitar stuff for myself and my daughter from Sweetwater. Well, most recently, I ordered this thing. It was called the Beat Buddy, which is a virtual drummer that you can plug into the amplifier while you're playing guitar and it'll pick up any track, right? I literally get this voicemail from my buddy Alex over at Sweetwater. I got a guy at Sweetwater. Hey Sam, Alex from Sweetwater giving you a call. Just want to check in with you here about the Beat Buddy. Want to make sure you're doing, make sure you've been getting along with it here. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And then the rest of the voicemail has to do with the big sale that they have coming up. But as a VIP member, I wanted you to know that you have access to that sale at this link prior to the big sale coming up. Now, just think about that. This is a guy who's doing virtual sales because they're virtual only. There's no brick and mortar store. And the relationship with me and his VIP members is such that I'm checking on the last thing you just had. And I wanted you to know about this really big sale that's coming up right now, right? So you could say this is a sales component. And I would say there's a sales component to fueling the service department for the winter. And we'll get to that here in just a second.
Oh, yeah.
But to your point, whether it's a dentist or whether it's somebody at Sweetwater, when you have the right company and you have the relationship with the person, I was excited to hear from Alex, and Abigail and I went through that page on the big sale that's coming up. And I can promise you there's some stuff in the shopping cart that's going to happen here as her birthday comes up. It's proactiveness. It sounds so easy, right? But as a customer, you're like, damn, that was easy. That was fun. I can't wait to get that stuff and talk to Alex again.
I think the end result, where the customer forward facing, is easy once you have that plan in place. So you're right. It seems seamless. It's all the energy that goes into it.
Yeah, it's not getting dormant during your cold weather. It's reaching out and making it seem like we're the place to go. What was that thing on Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right? Number 1, wherever you are, that's the place to be, right? And number 4 was, when in doubt, play side 2 of Led Zeppelin 4.
That's right. Is it just me, or does everybody just conjure up a vision of Dancer walking around with a Beat Buddy so that he has his own personal drum track walking into his house to dinner? Yeah.
Hey everybody, Schooley with Garage Composites, and I'm excited to announce the registration for our Managers Training Academies are now open. We have our General Managers Academy. It's a 12-month long program, 4 different sessions. We have our Sales Managers Academy, 3 different sessions. It's a 9-month program getting into the sales department. We also, for the first time, have a marine-specific Sales Managers Training Academy also starting this fall. Also includes our Parts Managers Training Academy and our Service Managers Training Academy. They all start this fall 2025, going into first quarter of 2026. Hit me up, schoolie@garagecomposites.com for more information, or general info@garagecomposites.com, or quite frankly, just go to the website, sign up your manager. Let's see them out here this fall at Garage Composites Managers Training Academy.
Like marketing or like ordering your inventory, right? We're not just going to willy-nilly, although we do have a lot of dealers that are just like, sure, I'll take 10 of those and I'll take anything that you're pushing towards me. Let's just order all that stuff. But you have a plan. You have a plan for 3 to 4 turns. Your marketing is going to go after this demographic, and we're going to go throw this out on social on this date, and we're going to have a picnic or an event on this date, right? Much like that, you have to have a plan in the service department. And we suggest a calendar that is set 3 to 4 months out. Thus, this podcast.
Yes.
This is why I put it in the calendar of, you know what, for August, let's get them thinking right now so that they start putting a plan together that they can break out in October, in November, whatever that might be. And the cadence is set. The plan is set. The strategies, tactics, and tasks are set. So we want you guys to get in front of your customers by all means possible. Okay. We want you to trickle schedule all the work to cover your slow months. So you don't have to just go busy up October. Let's build some time in for the Octobers, the Novembers. And as I say this, I mean, we can go into extended warranty customers.
Sure.
We can go into priority maintenance customers. I mean, there's a million little rat holes that we can go and explore to get people in the front door. And then one more thing, and I'm going to turn it over to you. And start now and create the culture that mandates future contact with all closed ROs. And that's just the beginning, right? You close an RO right here, and Sam, I hand you back your motorcycle for doing whatever I did with you. I should expect that I get a call back in 2 weeks, like your guy at Sweetwater. I should expect that you get a Christmas card from me, your service advisor, a Christmas time, right? Happy Thanksgiving. Mandate that we start communicating with our service customers so that we create a relationship with them. What are your thoughts?
Well, also a couple podcasts ago, I'm not sure when it was, Tony, I was telling you about how I bought a specific motorcycle from one of our clients, and I never, ever heard back from that client. And so guess what I didn't buy the next time I was going to buy one of those brands? I didn't buy from that particular client. That's on a major unit. That's on a very expensive major unit. What we're talking about is, Tony, just the concept. I know some people are hearing, wait a minute, every closed RO? You want somebody following up on every closed RO? Yes. Are you here to cause sales, or are you here to react to sales? Because as we go 2025 and beyond, we don't even know what this AI component is going to do, but we do know that the multi-approach to selling, right? Starting online, moving it into the store, having that relationship that carries out all the way through the entire service, that is the way to go. And if nobody's following up with me, then you're just a widget and a price tag, or a service and a price tag. So yes, we definitely want people following up on that. To Tony's point about the sales department, reaching out or going down the rabbit holes to find little crevices. When you sit there and you think about what service sells, well, we sell to manufacturers, we sell to the sales department, and we sell to customers. So as you're thinking about, okay, Tony and Sam said, have a plan. What's the plan? Well, this is what we're getting you to do. We're going to walk through some of this with you, but think about the different avenues where service can make sales and flourish. And then what are we doing on those 3 avenues to create that?
But Sam,
yes,
my service advisors, they're the 2 or 3 of them, they're busy from 8 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. They have no spare time. They can't even catch a breath, and they can't even eat lunch.
In the department that you told me goes quiet, in the store that goes quiet during the winter, your guys are too busy. Is that what I'm hearing? Woo, busy.
Yeah. Or look at your staffing levels and try and figure out what one more or a half of an employee would cost you to make sure that you're building business in those slow times, right?
Yeah, when you think about staffing, Tony, I just I want you to be at the point where, well, let's be honest. What do most dealers do? They look to scale back on staffing if necessary, or they run a skeleton crew through the wintertime. So again, let me rephrase this for you. You're looking to scale back or run a skeleton crew during your selling season. Man, if you could just embrace the fact that when customers aren't coming in the door, that's when we have to work harder and create sales. I can't do that with less people or less of an experience. So yeah, I want my service writers coming to the sales manager and being like, man, I'm trying to put some P&A on every one of these ROs, but buddy, I'm just hustling to try to get through the ROs. Cool. We're creating work. We clearly need one more person to help out. Maybe it's not hiring a new service manager. Maybe we can pull from another department that maybe is slow.
Yeah. All right. So the strategy is to have a plan, much like your inventory orders and much like a marketing plan that you have in your dealership. Have a plan in your service department. Let's go into tactics, Dantzler.
Yes.
And we've broken those down to customer, OEM, and internal, as you had just said. So let's talk through those.
Yeah. Which one do you want to go first?
Let's talk customer.
Customer. All right. So what happens during the winter? What would a customer be interested in that may happen during the winter? Well, obviously, Tony, if it comes to boating, winterization, summarize, right? That service to protect the engine. It makes me think about what happened to Austin, Texas. 2 years ago, they had that freeze and all those boats that were sitting in the water were frozen. Now, you wouldn't anticipate that in Austin, but you probably anticipate that in Michigan. So are customers waiting till the last minute to get their boat into storage or getting the winterization? Yeah, they are. And they're making it hard for your department. So what are you doing about it to get in front of them coming in and staging that out appropriately? So I would suggest you a couple, Tony, would be the winterization and the storage. The storage is such a huge profit center if you have that availability, or if you can have a third party work with you that they have a storage facility and maybe there's a bump to you if you refer them down there. But get in front of what we know is going to happen before it actually happens.
How about deferred maintenance or priority maintenance? So deferred maintenance is if we're doing our job correctly as a service advisor, when we get that thing up onto a lift or out of the water, we look at the things that need to have happen or based off of what the interview and the walk around was. But we find other incremental work that we could be doing when a customer says, thanks, no thanks. You just change my oil or fix my prop or whatever that is, right?
Yep.
We should take note of the no's, turned us down, the TUDs in service as well. Keep a note on those, because in the future, if you're smart, you're keeping track of stuff that you can call the customer back and say, hey, listen, curious to know how your boating season finished up. Want to let you know it's probably time to pull that thing out based off of when you did it last year. I also noticed that, you said no to X, Y, and Z. And when we pull it out, we can get that done for you. And I have openings here February 1st, February 2nd, October 29th, whatever that might be, right? So deferred maintenance on one end. Priority maintenance on the other is we had a couple of dealers now that have gone back and contacted all their priority maintenance customers to try and drum up some business and service department. Number one thing that customers were saying when service contacted them about priority maintenance, answer, what was it?
I don't know. No one called me?
Exactly. I don't know. I have that on my boat. I have that on my side-by-side. I have priority maintenance.
I should have known that answer. I'm the perfect candidate for, I don't know about service on my machines. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Most customers had no clue or forgot that they had priority maintenance. I mean, that's a gold mine in and of itself right there. So contact your customers and say, hey, listen, I know, Sam, that your, leaves are falling. It's getting super cold or snow's on the ground. Wanted to let you know, we still want to take a look at that bike. And you have priority maintenance on it. You've already paid for that. Let's bring that in, right? So deferred maintenance, priority maintenance, customers. What else?
Well, and priority maintenance, just as a reminder of people, is a retention tool. Its purpose is to keep the customer coming back and into the service department. Its purpose is not to take their money up front in the finance office and hope they never come in. That's very short-sighted. So I would say early commitments, maybe even some discounts on some early commitments. We were Schoolie, Glow, and I were on a Wells Fargo call, and that's where we get a lot of our data for the marine industry. We were on a call just yesterday prior to recording this thing, and we're looking at new models now. We're talking about 2026s going in, and so you got dealers that are sitting heavy on 2020. Ones, twos, threes, four. Yes, you heard me correctly. That's a podcast for next week that you're gonna hear from us. But you sit here and you're like, the commitment to agree now to the boats that are coming in. Like, what can we do for that customer now who's agreed to the boat, and what is it that we're going to do to this boat to make it right for them? Or how do we make it cool for them? How do we accessorize it? How do we get the right rigging on top of it so it's exactly how they want it? It's also the ability to take their trade in to get out of that and get into the new one, which gets you off the juice of the new one, which again, we'll talk next week. But it's an opportunity to get some early commitments and maybe have some discount packages in your service department that's causing people to get in, maybe get that bike, that motorcycle, that whatever ready to go so that when the doors open, they're not flooding you in March or February to get the work done.
Another one for customers is discounted pickup and delivery, right? You heard me say discounted pickup and delivery, which means you should be charging for pickup and delivery. Last time I checked, fuel, insurance, the lot tech all cost you money. You should be charging me to come and get my stuff, which honestly, that makes a lot of sense to me. Of course, you're charging me to come pick my stuff up. I don't have to bring it to you. I can go to work. I can be in a different country, and then you're going to drop it off to me as well. So maybe that's something that you say, hey, listen, for the month of November, we're offering half price on our pickup and a delivery, or we're going to only charge you pickup. We'll give you the delivery, whatever that is, right? Maybe start looking at that. Let's talk about the OEM side of life is we talk about recalls. Hunt them down, right? Go look to see how many of your customers did not bring their boat or their side-by-side or their motorcycle in for the recall, and get on to calling them, because what happens when you call them and get them in, Dantzler?
Well, you get the boat up and starting. Sorry, I got motorcycle in my head. You get the boat up on the lift. You don't put the boat and the motorcycles on the lift. You get the boat out of the damn water, but there's an opportunity for upsells. There's a tremendous amount of upsells that can happen once we actually get the boat. And guys, it's another touch. I will always go back to the fact that it takes 20 touches of the product or the brand before someone says yes to the next one. 20. The question is, how can you as a salesperson get them to 20 touches sooner? This is another touch to get them in the store, to get them re-engaged with you and your brand. So the recalls are big, Tony. And to your point with F&I prior, you had said that some of the F&I stuff that you turned down were B, C, and D. And so maybe we can go back and revisit that as long as we're getting your boat in for priority maintenance. Well, we can do the same thing if we saw the recall. If we found an issue when you brought your boat in last time for recall and for whatever reason we couldn't do it, keep track of those so that we can get, once the boat's coming in for winterization, we can get that recall thing done that we couldn't get done in the middle of summer, or that you didn't want to take time for while the boat is in the water. Yeah.
You said something earlier that I think people probably heard, but I don't want to gloss over it too quickly, which is, this is all opportunities for the sales department as well. Oh. The more things that we get into service and up on lifts or out of water, if you have a good sales department and you have a service and sales department that are working together, I mean, just a simple line by an advisor of, oh man, this boat is beautiful. This 23, man, I love it. It's great color. Did you see the 26s? I mean, the 26s are ridiculous with what they're doing now. Anyway, let's keep going, right? Just that little tiny thing is enough. So
it's a little teaser, just a little, come check it out. Because anyone who has the, whatever you just said, 22 or 24 is like, yeah, I want to see it. And you know what they're going to do? I'll tell you, I know what they're going to do. At minimum, they're going to go to the website and look at the 26 because you said, have you seen the new one? Right? And then that just starts it up over again. Anybody, whatever your thing is, and I've always called it a bucket one, watches, motorcycles, boats, clothes, shoes, purses, I don't care what it is. When do you want another one? Now. And if you have somebody leading you in that direction, particularly if it's your I got a guy or I got a gal in the industry, you're going to be more likely to go check it out and start that process over again about looking at the new one.
Yeah.
The sales department, there's so many opportunities for that, Tony. And I think there's a word out there that Max Matern on our team has used the word swap lately instead of trade in. And I really like that word swap. We're going to come in and we're going to swap it. Oh yeah, it's just a few more bucks a month, or it's just a whatever. Or we're just going to swap the inventory. Just come on in and bring that one in. We're going to swap it out for this next one in there, right? So you can have an inventory swap event with, hey, here are the boats that we have that need to go away before the end of the year. But we'd love to have your trade, because I think you'd love to have everybody's trade. It's just at what number. Bring it in and then swap you out into the new one. We can work out the details. It's no big deal. But you typically, this is the time of year where you have salespeople who are just sitting back and they're saying, oh, I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to wait. We're going to plan for the boat show, which is coming in, whatever, depending if it's Fort Lauderdale or some of the Michigan ones, November, December, January. And all of a sudden you've lost Q3. And right now in our industry, particularly in the boating industry, you can't lose Q3. You have to get these boats out of inventory. So let's take this opportunity with fueling in work into the service department by, hey, let's do a trade appraisal on your boat, on your motorcycle. Let's get it into service, see what it's worth, and swap you into the new one. You can always say no. It's easy if you're proactive about it.
You also have your internals that you can start to filter in and out throughout the time when you are going to be super slow. Make sure you're strategic about that. It's every little bit counts to get that service department not surviving, not treading water, but actually working so that you have a great season in the service department in the winter months. So tasks, dude. Let's talk about tasks.
What should everybody be doing?
And this is super simple. And this is the basic message that we tell you guys all the time. And that is that basically it's contacts, it's staying engaged, right? So number one, get with your riding clubs or local riding clubs or a local boating club, whatever that might be. Get involved with them so that it's an easy sell to people that you're consistently staying in touch with, so that it's not just necessarily always a cold call, right? Another one for me is social media is centered wholly around the 75% profit of the dealership, which is the sales department. And I get it. It's a fun thing to do, right? But we have to start filtering in the parts department, the pro shop, the service department. We have to start shooting some of those fun videos that we're shooting up front and some of the great pictures that we're taking. We have to get our other departments involved so that it becomes this regular cadence and we start to understand the who's and the whys of the other departments. You agree with that?
I do. And unfortunately, Tony, I see that this really takes some kind of oversight and management as opposed to just do it. You guys just start putting some stuff out on social media. It really takes a person. And we know that when we have a person involved, there's a lot of content that goes up on our social media pages. And when we don't have somebody involved, it just falls by the wayside. A lot of that has to do with the fact that Tony and I are of an age where I don't really give a shit about social media. I really don't care, but I know how important it is on the business side. So we have to have that outlet for people to engage with us and connect on social media. So I see it a lot more often, Tony, where a pro shop P&A manager, hey, this is Bill. Let me tell you about the new jacket that just came in from Revit. Let me walk you through the armor, and it's a cool weather jacket or it's a cold weather jacket, or, we didn't even talk about the P&A and pro shop and the opportunity they have during the winter to bring people into the store. The number one best piece of riding gear I ever bought was heated gear and heated gloves. It's the greatest thing. I can go 11 months out of the year on a motorcycle in Colorado because of the heated gear. What are you doing in every department to cause people to get into the store? And ultimately, for this podcast, we can filter them into the service department. But I think just contact, just general contact, just reach out and touch them. Get me one touch closer to touch 20 so that I'm ready with you to pull the trigger on the next one, as opposed to never heard from the salesperson from the last one I bought. I'm at touch 20 and I'm at another competing dealership over here. And we do that. This isn't make your calls. Hear me. This isn't make your calls, make your calls, make your calls. Emails, phone, text, video. We've been beating that drum for 2 years on the video now. You have to get engaged on this level. Email, text, phone, and video. One touch closer to the next sale. That's the message to your team.
Also, I would love to see dealerships flip the paradigm, flip the script, make your calls, make your texts, make your videos, right? That is telling your staff, your team, your people to go do something versus the expectation of tell me what you did do this week. Tell me, how did your calls go today? It's not that I'm telling you, Sam, go make your calls, go shoot your texts out. It's that out of the 10 that I know that you do, because I know that's just the culture of the department, what kind of response back did you get, right? So if we are stuck in the management process of get out there and go be proactive, we're not being proactive. We're still pushing. We want to create the culture of this shit gets done and it gets pushed up to you so you understand how the metrics are working.
Yeah, if I have to tell you to be proactive, we're clearly not being proactive as a company. Right. That's a good point. Hey, I mentioned earlier that Sweetwater was one of my examples. You mentioned the dentist. I think there are other opportunities that you could get. Back to ski season is one that resonates with me because here we are in Colorado, and pretty soon we're going to have the golf retailers who will become snow ski and snow retailers, right? They typically, those retailers play in both spaces. So to keep them going through the summer, they become bicycle dealerships and golf dealerships. And then they roll right into ski and snowboard and that kind of stuff before the season starts, right? Sneagrab, right? That's one of is it Skiagrab or Sneagrab? I think it's Sneagrab, although it should be Skiagrab. Do you know That's the big annual one they do here in Denver. That's like all of the inventory that's left over from last year. Huge, massive blowout. It happens in October of every year when the ski seasons typically don't open until, November, December, right? So it's a big blowout. But they're teasing you with those flyers, direct mail flyers, phone calls, checking in with you, getting you involved early before the season kicks open. The golf industry reaches out to you early before the season opens. We just need to be that. Look at other industries out there.
Yeah, for sure. Talk to us about auto maintenance.
Well, it's the same thing, right? When I got a Toyota flyer sitting right here on my desk about how my next service is coming up. How do you know my next service is coming up? They're just forecasting out. It's almost like when we tell people when you're selling maintenance, forecast out based off average utilization when you think the first service is going to be, and get that on the books, because now you're encouraging the customer to engage with a service department. So it's not just, I only know the salesperson. Now they get to know the other departments, and now we have the first service on the books. You have to forecast that out. So we do it in our industry as well. It allows the opportunity for the service writer to see that a first service is coming up with a new person a new customer of ours, and reach back out to them. The auto industry has this thing perfected. It's on an algorithm that spits it out that Sam Dantzler bought a Toyota Tundra on this particular date. His last service was here, therefore his next service should be here. And they're reaching out to you on a programmed schedule to get you to keep coming back. Your tires need to be rotated, need to get you to come back. Whatever it happens to be, the point is to look at other industries and see what other people are doing and take some of those ideas, because you've seen it already.
For sure. So in summary, guys, we got to be proactive. I've said this. I wrote an article years ago for Power Sports business, and the whole premise was don't pull the clutch in. And what I meant by that was, we're starting to see that kids are going back to school. The leaves are going to start to change. We start to pull the clutch in a little bit to kind of take a breath and like, okay, it's going to slow down now. Only pull the clutch in, man, to kick it into sixth gear now and really start to get proactive and get your people moving towards continuing to create those door swings in your fixed operations.
Selling season, not buying season, right? Selling season is upon us right now. Get off your ass, create work for the service department, and leverage the other departments to do it.
You guys have a treasure trove in your DMS system, your service schedule. Get to work on that. Right now is the time to start your proactive approach to scheduling out the slowest time that you have always created in your head for your service department.
40 minutes and 52 seconds into the podcast, you finally brought out treasure trove. I've been wondering, you put that away for a little bit.
Did I treasure trove that?
You just treasure troved it. Yeah, I haven't heard it in a couple of podcasts.
F&A, there's a treasure trove in there. Get to it. Go find the gold.
Hey, and hang on, one last little bullet point. That podcast that we're going to do for next week is we're going to be talking about what came out as a result of that Wells Fargo call that we run yesterday, right? And it is, you better get on with some sales in Q3, particularly in the marine industry. We got to look for selling opportunities through the service department for the sales of these boats that are still on your showroom floor. So we're going to hit that next week.
All right, guys, there it is. Service Proactivity. Get out there and start filling in your scheduler right now. For Sam Dantzler, I'm Tony Gonzalez. This has been GarageCast. Have a fantastic Tuesday.
Thanks, everyone.